Whether you're writing your first configuration or your 100th, Sensible's new recommended query groups make the process easier and faster. Sensible uses LLMs to identify extractable data points and auto-generate queries to parse this data from your uploaded document. This entire process is completed in seconds and works particularly well for unstructured text-heavy documents as well as those with well-defined key-value pairs. Before we jump into the 3 main use cases for recommended query groups, let's quickly go over how query groups work. Query groups bundle multiple queries together based on their contextual or locational proximity within a document. By grouping queries that share the same paragraph or page, both extraction accuracy and extraction speed are significantly increased. This is because query groups enable LLMs to focus their search within a narrower window. Now, let's look at 3 ways to use recommended query groups. We'll be using a commercial lease agreement and an offering memorandum as our example documents. First, you can generate an initial query group for new documents. Use recommended query groups to kick off the configuration writing process for your newly uploaded documents. After uploading our example lease agreement, Sensible generates 10 relevant queries in real time from the first 2 pages of the document with meaningful text, bypassing any title or blank pages. Let's take a look at some of the queries Sensible generated. By clicking on the query groups card, we can see all of the recommended queries like, what is the date the lease agreement was made, who is the landlord in the lease agreement, and who is the tenant in the lease agreement. All of these generated queries can be edited or deleted depending on their relevance for your extraction use case. You can also change the advanced parameters for chunking, hinting, and confidence signals. Next, you can add new recommended query groups to existing configurations. Let's take a look at an existing configuration for an offering memorandum. To generate a new query group, we'll select a page with data we want to extract, click Create Query Group, and then select Auto Generate. Sensible incorporates half of each neighboring page to provide additional query generation context. Sensible also cross-references other query groups in the configuration to make sure that no duplicate fields are included. Let's look at some queries Sensible generated for this page. If we navigate back to the main page, we can see the queries populate beneath the existing configuration. Finally, you can add new queries to existing query groups. Let's use the query group from the previous example. Click the card, scroll to the bottom, and click Suggest Queries. Sensible uses the existing queries and their context to identify potential additional fields. You can select one or multiple of the suggested fields to add to the query group. If we scroll to the bottom of the query group, we can see where they're added. As mentioned in the previous use case, Sensible will cross-reference queries in the current query group to prevent any duplicate fields. This means you can continue adding additional fields to a query group until all possible fields are exhausted. Test out recommended query groups today in Sensible UI. Just upload a document to get started.